This is VSiN, the sports betting network. This is Money Moves on VSiN, the sports betting network.
To get to this hour as we welcome you back to Money Moves on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, live as always in downtown Las Vegas, Circa Resort and Casino. Stormy Buonantony, Jonathan Von Tobel with you. Lots of NHL final coming up tonight. I'll give you my breakdown. Minty Bets is also going to join us in studio, who we just got a visit from a second ago. She's grabbing coffee with Mike Palm.
Take a drink of water. So you're an animal right now. It's just like you need to relax.
What I was going to say is,
show people what you're doing.
So I've only got one. This is gross now. I've got one bite left.
She just housed a donut in the break. That's why she's swallowing her spit, because there's so much sugar all up in her jowls at this point right now.
The commercial break we have at the end of an hour
is 4 minutes.
Is the longest one we have.
Correct.
So I felt this was my opportunity to eat the donut and get the sugar fix that I needed. And, of course, Minty and Mike Palm walk in the studio as I'm just
wolfing it down.
Legitimately wolfing
like it's going to grow legs and run away.
Oh, yeah. But it's so good once it hits your lips. It's hard to stop.
It's ridiculous.
Am I wrong?
What'd you have for breakfast today?
I have not had breakfast.
You didn't have your usual peanut butter and jelly and like Reese's Pieces?
No, I had coffee. I had a brown sugar oat milk shake and espresso, and now a donut. I am working out today, though.
The workout thing's fine. I understand you're working out, and I'm saying this from a place of I'm concerned about you. You need real breakfast.
You guys were actually very rude and judgmental about my candy as well.
Well, yeah, your candy selection's terrible.
What did Mike say to me? He said it's like atrocious.
Yeah, it's atrocious. We both said it at the same time.
What I do to my body is atrocious. Come on, guys.
No, it's your candy selection that's atrocious.
Sorry that I like Nerds Gummy Clusters and Happiness, okay?
Yeah.
Although, did you see? I showed you did see.
I was with you. You almost ran into a woman.
Our audience hasn't seen.
You almost ran into a woman in the gift shop because I, the other day, stopped by to get an energy drink. You walked in with me, so we went together. And you were so excited over these, like, nerd-esque gummy ropes or something that you almost ran over this tiny lady that was standing behind you.
I apologized. Okay.
I had to tell you, watch out.
This is a great example of our dynamic, though, that we go into that little shop in the morning when we come here to work. You always get an energy drink and a protein bar, something to like that, and all I'm doing is just looking at all the candy. I very rarely actually pull the trigger. I think one time I got a Rice Krispie treat. I mostly don't get anything.
I think about you. Well, there were some holiday M&Ms at one point or something. We tried those. They were pretty good. They're like mint chocolate.
Yeah, I know there's some things you've tried out that you didn't like, but we'll get you on board.
Just don't like sugar first thing in the morning.
While we are, I think my teeth are good though, right? We good?
A little yellow.
That's
are you talking about the chocolate?
While we are knee deep right now in the NHL and NBA finals right now, the MLB I know is taking a little bit of a backseat. There are moments though, I feel like pretty regularly where we just have to talk about something that happened the day before. And I know we'll preview some of the games that are still to come here, but some of the things that Christopher Sanchez has done, some of the things that Jake Mizorowski has done, and then yesterday it's another Shohei Ohtani pulling double duty, 6 scoreless innings. He goes 3 for 4. It's just, you have to talk about it, and Shohei again delivered last night.
I mean, I think it's really the theme of what yesterday was, and we had hit on this a little bit, but yesterday you had so many National League Cy Young contenders because there is so many of them, but they were all pitching on one day. And so it was one day worth really focusing on what some of these performances were going to be like, because there was just so little room between all of these guys that one small blemish was maybe going to make the difference in what you were going to see from all of them. And I know you bring up like Shohei Ohtani, for example, but what you were going to get from some of these other guys, Paul Skeens goes out and arguably looks very mortal against the Houston Astros. 4 2/3, gives up 3 earned runs, does strike out 7, but it also gives up 7 hits. So in comparison with some of his counterparts, it was a day in which maybe a guy like Ohtani, who again, like you mentioned, is sub-1 ERA, is going to potentially pull ahead here in a race like this. Chase Burns got off to a rough start. That was the guy that I had talked about. I had him at 20-1 to win National League Cy Young. Chase Burns goes out there, and he gets off to a rough start, but evens out the rest of the way. Stat line as a whole looks pretty good. 6 innings pitched, strikes out 9, gives up a homer, 2 earned runs there, walks 1 though, but 9-1 strikeout to walk ratio. It was a really good day yesterday overall for some of these pitchers and where they were going to end up. But all of them pretty much delivered when you looked at the stat line for all of them. And you talk about Christopher Sanchez, that bum goes out and has his scoreless streak ended, as you mentioned, and just gives up a ho-hum 7 innings 8 strikeouts, that 1 earned run.
Yep.
Like, it was a ridiculous performance from him, too. So these guys are all kind of holding up. And what did we say yesterday, by the way? The Padres did not win, but Walker Buehler had some signs that maybe he was getting a little unlucky, that he could give them an opportunity to win the game. Gave them 6 and only gave up 1 earned run.
Sheesh.
So, like, he did give them an opportunity, like we talked about in that matchup yesterday.
I did also want to say, even though the typical awards markets are down right now because we do have games going on, that the NL MVP Shohei versus the field is out now at DraftKings. Ohtani minus 700 for the National League MVP. Any other player you're getting at 5-1.
Yeah, FanDuel keeps theirs up and updates them throughout the games too, but he's minus 900 over there too. So you're getting some pretty big prices. And to the point of the National League, Cy Young, Christopher Sanchez plus 125, Mizorowski's 2-1, Ohtani's at plus 550, Paul Skeens at plus 950, as is Chris Sale. And then you get into the long shots. Chase Burns actually slipped a little bit after yesterday at 25-1.
Some score updates for you here real quickly as well, as we do have 4 games in action. The Phillies up 3-2 over the Padres in the 7th. Orioles just blasting the Red Sox right now. They put up a 6 spot in the first inning, 8-0 right now in the 5th. Tied at 1 in Cleveland and New York, and then the Giants up 5-1 in Milwaukee. You mentioned Chris Sale. He is on the bump today for the Atlanta Braves. Hefty moneyline price, minus 266 against the Blue Jays. Mason Flaherty? How do you say his name? You're my baseball guy.
You're the name freak.
Total 7.5. That's why I asked you. I figured you would know. Total 7.5 in that one. Slight juice on the over at minus 112. So I was right. Okay, that makes me feel good.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Anything for me today?
The donut really did make a difference here, huh?
I have much higher energy, though. I'm ready to go. Also, somebody tweeted at us, by the way. Let me make sure I get the name right here.
Okay.
Mind the Gap Radio said, "Don't let those guys bully you." I will not. Trust me. I defend my candy and I defend my donuts.
It's just a terrible candy choice.
Okay.
I mean, well, it's awful to eat it every
There's
morning.
one candy I like that you don't like, which actually you have supplied me with some of the stuff before. You've given me a full bag of Nerds Gummy Clusters.
That's what friends do. All right, JT Ginn gets the start for the Athletics today. Let's talk about this game because it's a pretty interesting matchup.
You got nothing for Chris Sale?
Oh, I thought you were asking just in general, what do I have today? No,
nothing on that one? Okay.
No, nothing on that one. I apologize. But let's go out to Chicago. Cubs taking on the Athletics of Sacramento. 2.87 ERA for Ginn coming into this start. But as we always look for, search for, sift through, try to find some noise that we could take advantage of here. Ginn does have some stuff that maybe you're thinking, all right, my guys can't keep getting away with this at this point right now. The 2.87 ERA, but the 4.12 fielding independent, that immediately suggests that maybe we have some wiggle room here for him to regress. But where is it? There's a couple of things. First off, walk rate is worse than it was last year, and it wasn't particularly great a season ago, walking just about 11% of the hitters he's facing up to this point. He's also getting really lucky. Batting average on balls in play, 234. So against a lineup like this, you'd think that the Cubs could have a little bit of success potentially here with their lineup to go out and get to Ginn, because I think it's something that a lot of people have been waiting for the most part. You see the total of 10-2. Would expect some fair conditions for the most part when you're talking about baseball out there in the Windy City. Winds blowing out to left field, so would expect that maybe Ginn, if he has been getting away with his transgressions, maybe runs into a little bit of a wall here against the Cubs. Now, question is, because we talked about this the other day, nailed the handicap with Joe Ryan that he was eventually going to give up some tater tots, but the other side sucked so bad that it didn't end up going right. Shodi Managa's on the other side for Chicago. He's been pretty average, 4.37 ERA, 4.44 fielding independent. You can make some argument maybe he's due for some positive regression to the mean, but we're still talking about a pretty average dude. But I would trust that Ginn is going to get got here by Chicago. $1.43 with the way that your opposing pitcher, Imanaga, is pitching. Don't really like swallowing that much here, so maybe a team total for Chicago might be worth looking at to get to Ginn, especially in the early goings. Cubs team total in the first 5.
Yeah, I was just looking at Shota's game log. 5+ runs allowed in each of the last 3.
Yeah.
Not ideal. Anywhere else that you were looking today? We mentioned the 4 games that we have in action, but 5 games still to come. Not a full loaded day like we had yesterday.
I mean, it's an interesting matchup. The Evil Empire later tonight, and Justin Robleski getting the start here. You talk about, again, it's stupid. They just grow on trees with these Dodgers. You just pull one out. You're like, okay, here's another pitcher. 2.87 ERA, 3.42 FIP. He has been really good up to this point. Seems almost like a pretty cheap price, doesn't it? I mean, $1.37 for Los Angeles, given the way that he's been pitching. And given the way that Ritton Nelson maybe has some signs that he should get knocked around a bit here. Not crazy regression, but 4.82 ERA, 5.46 on the FIP. Again, you look at some of the underlying metrics and find out what's going on. One of the big things for Nelson, he has been getting just absolutely destroyed when it comes to some of the home runs. Over 12 starts, giving up over 2 home runs every 9 innings. So you expect some of the power and the pop in this Dodgers lineup can get to Nelson, make him pay as well. And given what some of the contact numbers would show you too, barrel rate of over 11%, over 43% of the balls that are hit against him have an exit velocity of over 95 miles an hour. Would trust that this Dodgers lineup can get that too. So feels like $1.37, somewhat cheap with the way that Wroblewski's pitching, Nelson's pitching, and we know what we know about this evil team out there in Los Angeles.
Speaking of that evil team, and especially as someone who
not a team of character like the Angels of Anaheim,
who is a Padres fan, it makes you sad when you look at the division odds and we're in June and it's minus 5,000 already. It's just one of those things. They're plus 195 favorites to win it all again.
So speaking of one of our guests coming up here, Minty, she had the audacity to suggest to me last night to switch fandoms. Yeah.
From who to who?
I mentioned that I was a Clippers fan, and she was like, "You're the first one I've met." And I was like, okay, well, that's not nice, first off.
You know what?
And second, I'm like, it's been a terrible existence. Like, that's not really nice. And she was like, you should switch fandoms. My response was, I'd rather die.
What's funny, what makes this even funnier to me is that you have said in the past, like, yeah, you know how people, you wear a certain team's gear and, like, people will come up to you, give you, like, nugs, or just, go
never
Dodgers, go whatever. That never happens to me.
It's one of my favorite, I've said it 1,000 times, one of my favorite, like, social interactions is when somebody will see the logo of their favorite team and they'll be like, go Braves, or whatever it is. It's never happened to me because I don't meet Dodgers Angels fans ever.
And listen, reminder, everybody, the sports calendar never stops. If you haven't checked out the Sharp Plays, now is the time. Winning for 15 years, all of it documented, logs posted publicly at sharpplays.com when the Sharp Plays move. Sportsbooks take notice. Check them out today with advanced AI, trusted insider intel. They find value before numbers shift. Start winning with them at sharpplays.com. When we come back, we'll dive into Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Final coming up tonight. Carolina favored to rebound against Vegas. Can they get it done? We'll discuss.
So you're listening to this podcast because you want an edge. But what if I told you you're only halfway there? You've got the mindset. Now it's time to get the toolkit to match. Here's the thing. Pro bettors spend thousands on data and tools. But what they don't want you to know is that you can get the same edge for a fraction of the cost with VSiN Pro. VSiN Pro gives you access to expert picks, public betting data, prop projections, powerful tools, analytics, and more. Just tap the link in the description and see why thousands of bettors are already using VSiN Pro to cash more bets.
You're watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the sports betting network.
So I don't know if it's an issue. I just want to say I'm good with my money before I present the story, okay?
All right.
But at times...
I don't believe you based on how you're starting the story, but go on.
But at times I'm prone to an impulse buy every once in a while.
Sure.
And so this is good for you because I actually saw something the other day and I bought it for you.
What?
I was going to present you with
what?
Now, hold on. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you what it is because I've had an issue. It won't get delivered, and I'm trying to get this thing to my house. I'm going to show you what this is. Okay, we can't say what it's a shirt, but it's this one right here.
Oh
it's a hot dog shirt, and yeah. I got it for you, and I can't get it. And it just got reminded because something popped up in my email right now.
Did you get the email that it's out for delivery or something,
been like the third time. It's like the third time it's been out for delivery. But I bought you that shirt.
You're so stupid.
That's a good shirt.
I do have...
I can't say what's on the shirt.
1 month from today, 4th of July... I will, in honor of the hot dog eating contest, although it's on a Saturday, so maybe I'll just have to bring it for my preview anyways. I have one of those hats that says bad day to be a hot dog.
Sure.
All for it.
It is a shirt that is along those lines.
Yes, it's something.
And if you don't wear
that will never be worn outside of my home.
Come on now.
Also, real quickly, so as we transition to get into the Stanley Cup Final, Game 2 coming up tonight, Carolina anywhere between a minus 155, minus 165 favorite, depending on where you look, against Vegas to rebound in this spot. I thought it was a little bit funny, considering yesterday we were literally talking about the Pope on the show because of that Seahawks.
Don't just that it, okay? I will tell you what it is. So there is a trend that is out there about the NBA Finals and the Pope, and it has to do with the football as well. But if you go back, every single time a new Pope has been elected in the 21st century, the San Antonio Spurs have made it to the NBA Finals and won, and the Seattle Seahawks have won the Super Bowl.
Okay.
So obviously last year we had Pope Leo the 6th? No, 16th? XIV? What is that?
14th.
14th. Okay. Pope Leo the 14th. So we had the
Learn
Seahawks.
your Roman numerals, man.
We had the Seahawks make the Super Bowl and win it, and then the Spurs are in. Pope Francis in 2013, Seahawks made the Super Bowl and, of course, won it. And then the Spurs made the NBA Finals, beat the Heat. And then 2005, Pope Benedict, Seahawks made the Super Bowl, XL against the Steelers, and Spurs made the Finals.
And you may be asking, Stormy, you just transitioned to the Stanley Cup Final. Why are you bringing up the Pope again? Well, Mark Chinook, for anyone who doesn't know him, he lives out here in Vegas, does a lot of work with the Vegas Golden Knights. He brought a Pope Leo Vegas Golden Knights sweater out there to Rome. And as the Pope is on his little Pope mobile, he hands the sweater, like the Pope motions toward the jersey because he basically is like, that's cool. And one of the men that is in his security grabs the jersey. So Pope Leo wanted the jersey, and he got it. I think this is a good omen for the Vegas Golden Knights, no?
Are we sure he didn't want it burned and admonished?
Look at him. He goes, that's pretty cool.
Are you sure?
Bring it on over. Yes, I would like that.
It's from Sin City.
Seems
you sure he's
awesome.
not grabbing it to then get rid of it?
Why would you even go there?
Is he allowed to touch
think
it?
this is good energy for the Vegas Golden Knights. Maybe not tonight, but for the series at large. Up 1-0 right now. Thoughts?
I don't think the Pope would accept a sign of
What?
debauchery and sin. I think he's above that sort of thing.
Vegas has changed.
I guess it has. The only thing I'm interested in this game, sidewise, I guess you can bank on the Carolina Hurricanes bouncing back. I feel like.
I bet it.
Yeah, I mean, you know how I feel about these things. I feel like it's odd to lay more on a game just because they lost the first one, but we have the numbers for the game 2 in the NBA Finals. I don't know about the Stanley Cup Final, what the bounce back is like in postseason in general for a home team that loses game 1. My assumption would be that it's pretty good that you bounce back relatively well.
And real quickly, I will say, while it's been bet up some places, I just bet minus 155 at a place here in Vegas. So there are places that it did not move, and it's the same price as it was for game 1.
I am more interested in, as we talked about last time, the total.
Yes.
And how this changes, if it does at all. And as we saw in the first game, went way over the total. Somebody on the show really nailed the analysis on that one. Who was that? Who nailed?
We get it. You're so great.
Who nailed every aspect of that game from a total standpoint?
You did. I will give you credit.
Oh,
and
Sorry, I couldn't remember.
You talked about the high danger chances allowed on both sides.
Yep.
How high caliber scoring of teams both of these teams are capable of being too. So yes, my theory that I still believe in at large that this series will be lower scoring took a big hit. Like the total was 5.5 and it got nearly doubled up in game 1.
So what if so the whole point still stands. These are pretty good teams, blah, 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 generating those chances. I mean, I would assume you get some sort of regression. Like if we get to the power plays, one of these teams has to score a power play goal at some point. And what if Freddie's just done?
Maybe the Canes power play is operating at 12%.
Yeah, it's bad. But like what if Freddie Anderson is just done? What if this is him? And so now all of a sudden you get this dynamic of coming in thinking this is going to be a series that is played one way, but it's funny because all the talking points that we've actually hit on, they came to fruition. It's not even just me, right? You've talked about Freddie Anderson regressing. He regressed. We've talked about Carter Hart. He at the beginning of that Utah series, he kind of stunk, and now all of a sudden he's back to being somewhat average. So if that all plays out, plus you get some sort of regression, I mean, at some point Carolina's got to get a power play goal. Maybe it's tonight, and then all of a sudden those things all come together, and you get another game, which, it's what are we talking about here?
So,
I'll go 4-2.
Yes, I get what you're saying. I mentioned the total being 5.5, but there are plenty of 6s out there too, so you could get the push on that. But also, I feel like I need to push back on all of those statements, and it's woulda, shoulda, coulda either way, but you also have Carter Hart and Frederick Anderson, who have been the two statistically best goaltenders in the postseason at large entering this. And yes, Freddie going Freddie, but he also, you would imagine, is going to have better support up front tonight after the way that game 1 shook out. And we've seen time and time again, Carolina in the bounce back spot be able to find more of their defensive structure and shot suppression as well on the other side. So what I was looking at mostly with this game is One of the biggest gripes specifically on the Vegas side that John Tortorella had with his team was what led to a lot of the goals for Carolina, specifically early on, the turnovers, right? That very first goal that Nikolai Ehlers scores is a bad pinch from Shea Theodore. The second one, the long pass from Jack Eichel that gets intercepted, no problem. It's like it went straight to Chatfield. Shea's not going to make those mistakes over and over again. Jack Eichel's not going to make that mistake multiple games in a row. Noah Hannafin should be a lot better. I think a lot of the issues that both of these teams had, they should be able to address. Vegas specifically really, really strong at adjusting, especially defensively. We saw throughout the Colorado series, right? It was like one high-scoring game, one low-scoring game, one high-scoring game, one low-scoring game. Carolina at large has been an under team throughout the entirety of the postseason. 10 of their 13 games have had 5 or fewer goals scored. I think we get at least in game 2, and I don't know what this is going to mean for the full series. My gut doesn't tell me this is going to be like a Colorado-Minnesota series. Could it be? Sure. But I think the larger picture, especially in game 2 like this, where if you're Carolina, your backs are freaking against the wall, right? You don't want to be in a position where you have to come to Vegas and have to win on the road. Have they been a good road team? Yes. But to put yourself in that position, no. So everything in my mind, and just because something should happen doesn't mean it will, is Carolina wins and it's a lower scoring game tonight.
Did you bet both or just the side?
I did.
Okay.
Under 6 at -115, and then -155 on the money line for Carolina.
I just need this Carolina team to bounce back. Laid 1.5 games. I don't know if you know that.
I did hear. Did you bet the over 5.5 for the series, though? Because I know that was something we talked about.
No, I just laid 1.5 with Carolina. So
okay.
Really good day for Freddie Anderson to regress here.
Also, something Hannah Yates told us yesterday, too. And
oh, yeah, go.
I know series to series, it doesn't. Not a lot of things will always carry over from one series to the other. But they had the blow-up game in game 1, too, where they allowed a ton of goals against Montreal. They had the tough love video session with Rod Brind'Amour. And apparently, Hannah told us they did that again this week. So sometimes calling out guys in certain positions helps move them along. What are you making that face for?
No, continue. I'm listening. Or is that it?
No, I was just going to say, I think that's perhaps another layer. The only thing to me, though, that I've been really impressed about Vegas, and it's not just them coming back from down 2-0 yesterday, scoring 3 unanswered and ending up winning the game, is just that how consistently they've done that throughout the playoffs. They have been such a good third period team. They've trailed in, I want to say, 12 of the 20 games since Torts has taken over. Yeah. 20 games they've won, that is. It's just the composure they have late in games is really special.
The face I was making is I did not realize that it had been a full month. Only one goal. I was going to bring up one Sebastian Aho.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's only been one goal in the last month. That was the face.
It's that top line has not been good. And Rod Brind'Amour.
If not now, when?
I know they scored 4 goals in game 1, right? When you score 4 goals in a Stanley Cup final game, you think that you should win that game, and you don't. So sure. I understand being critical of that top line for scoring, but it's the defense that really needs to get fixed throughout the course of this series. But Rod Brind'Amour said, and I quote, they need to play in the other team's end. There's too much one-on-one. It's too much one and done, and sometimes not even one. So the fact that they're not even producing and giving themselves chances has clearly been a gripe with Rod as well. Reminder, as we go through the Stanley Cup final, NBA finals ongoing as well. The NFL is going to be here before we know it, and we do have our early bird football season special going at VSiN.com right now for $175 now through the Super Bowl. You get unlimited access to everything we do at the site. So yes, that's all of our coverage, the daily articles. It is access to all of the best bets, the betting splits data, and our betting guides as they go. VSiN.com/subscribe.
You're watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the sports betting network.
To Money Moves, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, Sirius XM Channel 158. Stormy Buonantony, Jonathan Von Tobel with you. And coming off our conversation last segment about the Stanley Cup Final Game 2, coming up tonight out there in Carolina against the Vegas Golden Knights. Canes looking to rebound. Felt appropriate to have Minty Bets join us in studio. You cover so many things, and I know we'll get into some fight night and other things a little bit later on, but among the things you cover is the NHL, National Hockey League. Does a great job with FanDuel Sportsbook, a wonderful betting analyst. analyst. But I love all of your hockey content.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Yeah, and we are in the midst of it, right? Like, I cannot believe we are here, and the Knights won Game 1 in Carolina. I really didn't think they could do it, but I'm glad they did. And yeah, we got a very exciting Game 2 tonight.
For sure.
So what's your expectation, just the result? Do you think Carolina bounces back, or do you think Vegas is going to take 2-0 series lead?
It's so tough because I feel like I've predicted everything wrong up until, this moment. I do think Carolina bounces back, though. I mean, they are the better team on paper overall. But Vegas, man, they can just, counter with goals, back-to-back within minutes, even though Carolina can drag this on through 60. It's a tough spot, but I do think Carolina bounces back and makes it a good series.
No, I do, too. And something that we talked about last segment, as it pertains specifically to Vegas at the end of it, is just the resilience that they've had late in these games. And you mentioned just how they've been able to bounce back and score goals. But I mean, the third period goal scoring they've been able to have, the comfort that they have in those moments, even when they're trailing, has been so impressive. But you mentioned Carolina being the better team in your opinion at large. Were you surprised to see how much the odds shifted after Game 1, that we had a complete series favorite flip?
Yeah, indeed. I really am, because now I think people are on to Vegas and they kind of believe that maybe Vegas can steal this, and they're just riding this momentum. And I think that's what's so important, is it doesn't really matter if you've been great all season long, if you've been the better team on paper. It's just like in UFC, you ride that momentum, and they are hot right now. So I am surprised to see it. I do think Carolina steals Game 2 and possibly Game 3, so maybe we'll see Vegas as dogs again, but I don't know.
Well, you like player props, right? I think you play a couple of these. Have you decided yet what you're going to do here?
No, not yet. I'm so sorry. I'm so unprepared about this. But, yeah, I do like player props. I specifically love looking at Pavel Dorofeyev shots on goal. I feel like, I don't know, market hasn't adjusted to him as much. But I do love, my Vegas Golden Knights props. Maybe a Pavel Dorofeyev shots on goal. What did I have last time? I don't know.
I understand what you're saying with Pavel, though, because second leading scorer in the postseason right now in general. And with that, I think, I actually have a shots on goal prop we'll talk about a little bit later on with Tomas Hertl, but a similar concept of just a guy that's playing with a lot of confidence right now. I think shots on goal naturally come with that when you're feeling good about your game. And Pavel is one of those guys that he had a slow start in the postseason, but he's been so good throughout. And how you mentioned maybe from a shots on goal perspective that odds makers haven't fully adjusted. We talked about the Conn Smythe numbers earlier too, and it threw me off a little bit how long of the odds that he has. And I'm not going to say that he's in a great position to win, because Mitch Marner's odds on right now, but the numbers sometimes just don't make sense.
Yeah, at this point, not really, but I would expect that all of these guys I am really interested in. Howden's my guy still with all of this. Brett Howden's been absolutely fantastic, leading the postseason in goals, so I think he can get it done. Before we move off of hockey in general, we've talked a lot about the scoring in this series so far. Were you surprised by the 5-4, right? Am I on that? 5-4. Were you surprised by that?
Yeah, because I thought it would go under 5.5. Yeah. I did expect, I don't know, I was going to say I expected a slow first period, because I feel like Vegas can start off slow. But man, 3 goals in the first period and a goal scored in the first 25 seconds, a first period, 30 seconds of the second period. I mean, history was made. I kind of feel like it slows down a little, though.
I hope you're right.
I hope so, too.
As someone who bet under 6 tonight, I certainly hope you're right.
Yeah.
But to that point about the quick scoring from Carolina, they have done that numerous times this postseason. Our guy Jonathan Davis here at the network has been really good about the goal in the first 10 or Carolina to score the first goal in the first period, all of those different angles. I'll let you take it away here, JVT, because I know you are our strength on the show when it comes to fight night, UFC, all of this good stuff. So I'll let you have your moment.
Well, you mentioned history, and history was made 250 years ago when lonely 13 colonies came together and revolted against the great English kingdom and became America. And so we celebrate that birthday this very year, 250, with, of course, a mixed martial arts match on the lawn of the White House. So UFC Freedom 250 is coming up next weekend. We still have some time. So I'm just curious, because you cover mixed martial arts, you do a pretty good job of this. Just the general thoughts of fighting outside and what this is going to mean for these guys. This is a pretty unique experience. I have heard they're doing a lot in terms of making sure there's not condensation on the mat and all these sort of things. It sounds like it actually might be a logistical nightmare for these dudes.
Yeah, I think so. I think that It's funny because I talk to production all the time and my bosses all the time, and they're like, yeah, we're, after the Sphere, we're not doing anything crazy, we're not doing anything big, and then this White House card comes on, and yeah, it is definitely a logistical nightmare. I wish I had more information because everything they talk about the White House card and in their meetings, they're like, oh, we can't tell you. But yeah, having it outdoors in DC in July is going to be interesting, and it kind of throws off now how we are going to look at these fighters and how they're going to do, especially if they're like, quick finishers. And yeah, it's just insane. And this is a very chalky card too, which it makes almost unbettable, but I'm sure we'll find something.
Well, so that's actually, before we get to the fights themselves, because that's a good point, mixed martial arts in general, these fights in general, they do have some pretty big favorites at times. So how do you handle that, like when you're talking about giving out advice for these picks and what you're looking at? Do you go rounds? Do you go method of victory? How do you usually bet some of these cards?
Yeah, so when we see like odds this wide, it's tough to just bet straight up unless you're going to sprinkle a little bit on the dog. It kind of forces you to play some props, which I don't love method of victory unless I follow the fighter time and time again. But yeah, I think for this card, we're going to have to go to method of victory, KO props, sub props, and totals here, even though I think some of them are not out yet.
I know, as you said, we still have like a full month before we actually get to this card, but the headliner,
next
week.
It's
next week.
Next weekend.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
why did I think it was?
Because it's the celebration of our birth of our
It's
country.
really next week?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
God, shows what I know.
It's fine. July 4th, birthday of America. all that
Well,
stuff. UFC Freedom
yes,
250.
yes.
Yep.
So this is something that I will watch, so it's good that I know actually what it is now. Ilya Topuria, though, and Justin Gaethje at the top of this thing. Your early feeling on how you think that fight will play out?
Topuria by KO TKO. I'm going to say round 1 or round 2. Even though Justin Gaethje is so durable, I mean, Ilya is a big favorite for a reason, and he's going to continue to be this big of a favorite because he's incredibly dominant, and he's going up against a guy who has been in so many wars and so many brawls and has taken so much damage through the years. I don't think Ilya has really taken a lot of damage since entering the UFC. So for this particular one, I like Ilya by round 2 finish, I would say.
Okay. All right. We got some big boys on the card as well. Co-main event, Alex Pereira versus Cyril Gane. What's the expectations here?
Oh, man. This one's tough because Alex Pereira is moving up to heavyweight. He has taken a little bit of a layoff. And the line is at a pick'em right now. I do expect the line to move towards, I don't know. I feel like public bettors are going to be betting on Alex Pereira just because he is the all-time GOAT. But people are sleeping on Cyril Gane. He has way more heavyweight experience. He has swift footwork, and I think a lot of people just have a bad taste in his mouth just because he's gone up against John Jones and looked like a fool. So I actually really like Cyril Gane in this one. Hopefully you can get him at a dog price by fight night, but I'm not mad at this price at all.
So, I pulled this up. It's funny.
It's an interesting body.
Well, yes. Kyle Dawkins is what I brought up here. It's funny because the reason why he's fighting Bo Nickel, but when it was during COVID, and so when the only thing was going on was mixed martial arts, I got really into it.
That same as me.
Right, and so I was watching like CFFC championship bouts, and like Dawkins was one of the guys, so I'm always kind of interested in where he goes because I've been watching before he got to the UFC.
Oh.
But he takes on Bo Nickel, which is, a star, a darling, I would say, of the UFC. So what do we expect from this one?
Man, a chain wrestler here, Bo Nickel. I mean, he was such a highly touted prospect, and I think a lot of fans have been let down because, it's not that he underperforms or anything, but wrestling is kind of boring in my opinion. But I like Bo Nickel here. This is not a fight I'll have action on, and I think Kyle Dawkins hasn't fought in a while.
He hasn't fought since 2025 November and then August, and then those are the only 2 fights since 2024.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is Bo Nickel's, but I wouldn't be surprised if it goes to decision.
We've only got like a minute left with you, but like I would love more of that story of how you got into all of this in COVID.
Oh, yeah. I mean, as you know, during the pandemic, the only 2 sports we could really watch were UFC and horse racing. UFC was the sport that the company that I was working for decided to shift our focus to, and then that's kind of where it all started. And then maybe a year later, UFC reached out to me asking if I wanted to be on their betting show as a guest. I said yes, and then they had me on as a permanent guest. A year later, after that, they wanted me to give out picks on the live broadcast, to which I said no, because I had never done live broadcasting before. But yeah, they convinced me, and here I am today. It was a horrible debut, by the way. I went 0-4. It was the worst night of my life.
But it's not about how you start; it's how you finish.
Yeah,
okay? The bounce.
And I'm not done yet. Okay.
But it is cool how like sometimes things come up in your life just based on circumstance, and then it becomes a passion and profession and all of that stuff. So very, very cool. Appreciate you joining us in studio.
Thanks for having me.
The barista days didn't last, so you had to move on. That's what that was.
That's where Bill 80 found me.
Follow her on X as well at Minty Bets. Appreciate you doing this in studio with us. You're awesome.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much.
We got to step aside, but we will be back here rounding out our best bets for the day next on this Thursday edition of Money Moves.
You're watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the sports betting network.
All right, wrapping up Thursday edition of Money Moves, live from downtown Las Vegas. Stormy Buonantony, Jonathan Von Tobel with you. Remember, if you missed any of the show as well, you can always find Money Moves wherever you get your podcasts. Had an early breakdown of what is this? The Freedom Card? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, UFC
officially?
Freedom 250.
Freedom 250, previewed that with Minty Bets a moment ago. We had EJ Raddick on the show earlier, breaking down all things Stanley Cup Final, big game 2 coming up tonight. And Chris Vasili getting a head start on the World Cup, which begins a week from today.
What is the official term for a 250th anniversary?
Is it a quarter or something?
Is it semi-quincentennial?
I would not have got that. No. Can't say that would have been on the dome at all. You're teaching me so many words this week. I learned, I already forgot, aplomb.
Aplomb, yep, that's a good word.
I learned aplomb yesterday.
APLOMB.
That was a big one.
Yep.
Really expanding my vocabulary with you on the show.
You should read books.
I read.
That's what I do.
I read. I actually bought some books for the summer that I have yet to dive into. But
yeah, there it is.
Now's the time.
Come on now.
Let's get to the best bets, shall we? Starting with a recap from tomorrow. You just had one play. A recap from yesterday. You just had one play.
Yes. You can't recap what has yet to come. Josh Hart over 1.5 made 3-pointers. No, he did not get there. He had a great game. He was absolutely fantastic yesterday. But game plan did not play out the way that we thought. Didn't really even put up that many 3-pointers at all. So over 1.5 3-pointers, minus 155. Did not get there. Might go back to the well here in game 2, though. I do have a game 2 play, which we can get to. But I do think that that's going to be the strategy employed at some point. We will see if that is going to be the case. But it kind of goes back to, not to just keep bringing them up, but it ties into Karl-Anthony Towns. I mean, the Spurs do have to ask questions. They tried Wemby on him. They tried the other strategies. Nothing was really working in game 1, so I'll be curious to see. It does kind of tie into the fate of Josh Hart to an extent in terms of what he's going to do from beyond the arc.
Well, let's get to the play because, like you said, game 2 isn't coming up until tomorrow, but you already have an early angle on it trying to capitalize on a number while it's still where it is. What'd you go with? Yeah,
let's play game 2 over the total in the Knicks-Spurs finals series here. We'll go through a couple of things when it comes to this, but yesterday, I think you had the pace of play that you wanted to get the game over the total. I know ultimately it didn't get there, but 97 possessions between the two teams, so you got kind of up and down. You got what you needed. It was not an efficient game, though, at all. San Antonio averaged less than a point per possession. The Knicks averaged just about 109.4 per 100 possessions. Still good for the 42nd percentile, not exactly an efficient outing for them. But there's a couple of things that really help you outside of the pace. First off, these are two teams that don't really turn the ball over a ton, and you saw that yesterday at least. Knicks turned the ball over only 9% of their possessions. The Spurs were at 13%. Those are very well above average marks. So if you can hold on to the ball, that means better possessions for your offense. You do that again, that's going to work out for you. It was not a ticky-tack game. It was not one that was a lot of fouls called. So one would expect that a change in the way that this is going to be called will also help you potentially get over the total with a new crew. And you get out there and you shift some things around. Maybe you're going to see this thing, softer fouls getting called, things like that, get to the free throw line a little bit more often. We know that the Knicks, especially with Brunson, can get to the free throw line. I was going to say with aplomb, but I don't think that really works. So we just know they can get to the free throw line regularly. So a little bit of a reversion to the mean there, I think, should also help. The other part, too, is Stormy 30% from 3 for the Knicks in non-garbage time, 26% from 3 for the San Antonio Spurs in non-garbage time. So just your normal water finds its level from beyond the arc could potentially happen here. Now, the other part, which is going to be interesting because we always talk about sustainability and what's going to happen and how are things going to translate series to series. One of the big talking points that you and I have discussed has been the up and down, fickle nature of the Spurs shooting. What if it dries up for a series? I hope that is not the case because I would like this game to go over the total, but another sub 30% shooting night for them yesterday. Hopefully that's not going to be the case for the rest of this series moving forward. But either way, a lot of this points to Game 2 going over the total, over 214.5. Would expect we close like 215.5, so let's go with that.
And obviously we'll preview this game at length coming up tomorrow on the program. I didn't have anything for Game 1 yesterday. I did put in the over 5.5 games for the series, though, minus 170. That's juiced up to minus 230 now. So when you have the dog win Game 1, that's usually a good recipe for a series going a little bit longer. So hopefully that ends up being the case. As for today, we push it forward. I have 3 plays in the Golden Knights Hurricanes game, starting with the Canes on the money line, as we mentioned earlier, minus 155. Carolina has not lost back-to-back games since mid-January. They haven't lost back-to-back home games in more than 6 months. So I am banking on them getting back on track at home, a place where they have had the best home record in all of the National Hockey League throughout the course of this season. They are 11-0 in the bounce back. They lost Game 1 last series, ended up responding back at home in the next game. So let's hope that they do that again today, get some of their defensive stuff figured out. And with that parlays and dovetails into my bet on the under today, under 6, minus 115. I mean, you knew that first game was going to be an over game. I joked with Gil and Kelly on a numbers game earlier today. When Braden McNabb, of all people, has 3 assists in the game, like, you know it's high scoring and it's weird. Homeboy had 7 assists in all of the regular season. He has 6 so far in the playoffs and 3 in a single game. He is not a facilitator of offense, maybe has the meanest hip check in the league, but that's not what we have come to know and love from him. So let's get a little bit more defense. Let's have things settle back in. Let's have that kind of Game 7, gotta have it type of a vibe for this game tonight and have it play out more of the way that we anticipated it would initially. Game 1s are a little bit weird. Stat I wish I would have known going into Game 1, that Game 1s in the Stanley Cup Final the last 10 years, 8-1-1 to the over. Let's see if we can get it regulated a little bit here. And then one bet that we haven't talked about yet today that I did want to throw in as well, Tomas Hertl over shots on goal. It's set at 1.5, minus 106. He scores the game winner, obviously, in Game 1. Coming off of in this postseason and at the end of the regular season, this dude had a 29-game goalless drought, longest of his lengthy career. He was really, really struggling. John Tortorella slashed his minutes. He wasn't playing top power play anymore. Now he has refound his game. He has 4 goals and 8 points in all in the last 8 games, 3 in the last 2. Despite only averaging 1.7 shots on goal per game throughout the postseason, he averaged around 2.5 throughout the course of the regular season. He's got 3 shots on goal in 3 straight games. And I think because he has found his confidence, because he is now playing bigger minutes once again, he's going to be more apt to shoot the puck at the net. And like I said, 3 straight games that he's had 3 shots on goal, you're getting 1.5 for the prop at a pretty decent price. I think that's a very valid angle going into tonight.
Makes sense to me. Where are we at with the stank?
The stank, so he had 2 shots on goal in Game 1. Obviously, we need him to bump those numbers, but considering your leaders after Game 1 only had 3, I think we're in very good position. He went from 16-1 to 8-1 in the market for shots on goal leader.
Okay.
So still a longer shot, but a guy who, considering what we know about that second line, is going to consistently be in positions to have shots on net.
Okay. We're talking about Logan Stankoven, by the way.
Yes, that's the stank. Also, my Jack Eichel, minus 1.5 points over Seth Jarvis in good position. We've talked a lot about how that top line for the Carolina Hurricanes has done a whole lot of nada. So Jarvis was held off the score sheet. Eichel had an assist and hit, 3 posts? So I feel like he's going to keep firing too. He's another guy you might want to look at shots on goal, but the number's obviously going to be higher and the juice a little bit higher as well. But those are the 2 additional series futures I have pending, and then the futures for the postseason at large, the Golden Knights to win it all and Mitch Marner to win Conn Smythe, both in good position right now.
Sebastian Aho is plus 260 for an anytime goal today.
Who is?
Aho.
Oh,
We were just talking about him and his inability to score goals, just 1 in the last month, which has been a problem for him. First goal scorer is 14-1, last goal scorer is 16.
We talked about they are the only line for Carolina that has a negative plus minus.
Yeah.
And they're supposed to be their top guys, and that's another thing that I believe Hannah was talking to us about yesterday, right, is the pride that Sebastian Aho takes in his defensive game, and maybe a little bit too much.
They were -1 as a line in Game 1, so yeah, got to be better.
Do you have anything? Did you contemplate anything for tonight?
Got the Hurricanes -1.5 games, so that's what you're going to sit back and watch and see if they can pull this off. Obviously not great considering they lost the first game, but you win this, you're not on track, but it's not inconceivable you could still win 4-2 in the series if you're 1-1 through 2.
Sure. Well, and like we talked with Minty too, it feels like they should bounce back at home.
Sure.
So that would bode well for you, although I certainly hope not.
I just don't buy this price.
I can't lose back-to-back Stanley Cup final bets to you. I can't.
Yes, we do have another show bet on this, as you did lose last year. That is correct. That is a thing that happened.
Have you thought about what's the payout yet?
I don't want to get in trouble, so maybe it'll just be money.
Why would you
take me to dinner? You and Chris can take me to dinner.
So what happens if I win, though? Then is it just a wash?
I mean, you're not going to win.
I think I'm going to win.
I'll take berries.
So I'll take berries.
No, if I win, I'm up 2-0. That's berries.
That's
Yes.
berries worthy.
Yeah.
So then is it a 1-1 though if I
No, it's a wash. If I owe you nothing.
So then it's just nothing. It's just a flat out and we got to find
You're
whatever
down in
the
the
next
series.
thing is.
Yeah, you're down in the series.
This is weak. Okay, that's a wrap for us today, everybody. Thanks for hanging out on Money Moves. We'll be back tomorrow. Recap everything that transpired on the ice. Look ahead to Game 2 of the NBA Finals as well.
We'll also have to update the series statistical leaders in the NBA Finals.
Yep.
Because we had some interesting results. One guy is near the lead that I bet, but I don't think he's going to get it. So we'll have to tell you why that is.
Don't go anywhere, though, even though we are done. VSiN rolls on. Follow the money coming up next with Mitch and Pauly. Speaking of the NHL, Eddie Olczyk on the program today with his best bet for Game 2 tonight. That's a wrap, everybody. Have a good day. Good luck with your plays.